For 45 years, her closest friends didn't know if she was alive or dead. Conspiracy theories spread. A funk pioneer walked out of the music industry at the height of her fame and vanished so completely that she shopped for groceries for 40 years without a single person recognizing her. And one soul singer's entire debut album, the one meant to make her a star, simply disappeared into a record company's warehouse for almost 30 years, with nobody, including her, knowing why. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, hit subscribe and drop a like right now. Okay, let's start with the most mysterious of them all. Story 9, Nathaniel Mayer, Village of Love, 1962. For 36 years, almost nobody in the music industry knew if Nathaniel Mayer was alive. Rewind to 1962. An 18-year-old Detroit singer released Village of Love, and it cracked the national top 25. For one brief moment, Nathaniel Mayer was a genuine star. In 1966, after a falling out with his label, that momentum simply stopped. He resurfaced only once, briefly, in 1980, then disappeared again just as suddenly. Rumors swirled through Detroit's crumbling east side. Some said poverty, others weren't sure he was even alive. In 2002, a small archival label unearthed a never-before-heard 1968 recording of his and released it without asking him. Word reached Mayer that his own lost music was circulating again. At close to 60, 4 decades after his only real hit, Nathaniel Mayer stepped back into a studio, toured Europe for the first time in his life, and got the second act almost nobody in music ever gets. He died in 2008, following a series of strokes, but not before proving 36 years of silence didn't have to be the end. Story 8, Marva Whitney, It's My Thing, 1969. James Brown called her soul sister number 1. Marva Whitney joined James Brown's touring review in 1967, becoming his most prominent female vocalist. Her single It's My Thing cracked the Hot 100, and she toured with Brown to perform for troops in Vietnam.
Don't stop, come on, put your hands together.
By every outward measure, life on the road with Brown was brutal.
From a while back, mercy.
After a romantic relationship between them turned sour,
so if you will, ladies and gentlemen,
Whitney later said Brown threatened her with a gun on more than one occasion.
Miss Marva Whitney!
For decades, Whitney worked quietly, largely out of the national spotlight, performing locally around Kansas City.
Yeah!
Then hip-hop producers started digging up her old records. Public Enemy sampled her, DJ Kool sampled her. A new generation had no idea who they were listening to. In her final years, Marva Whitney found a genuine second life, touring Europe and Japan with a full band, finally performing on her own terms, decades after walking away from the man who'd made her famous and nearly broken her doing it. She died in 2013 at 68.
Nobody can tell her who they're talking to.
Story 7, Gloria Jones, Tainted Love, 1964. Almost everyone on Earth knows the song Tainted Love. Gloria Jones recorded the original version of Tainted Love in 1964, a raw, gospel-trained performance that flopped commercially and was buried as a B-side. She kept working anyway, eventually becoming the romantic partner and backing singer of glam rock icon Mark Bolan of T-Rex. In September 1977, Jones was driving the car she and Bolan were riding in when it crashed into a tree outside London. Because they'd never married, she and their young son inherited nothing, and for years, the world remembered her only as the woman who was driving, not as the artist who'd written one of the most covered songs of the century. In 1981, a British synth-pop duo called Soft Cell released their own version of Tainted Love. Decades later, Jones and her son opened a music school in Sierra Leone in Bolan's memory, and she finally began reissuing her own original recordings. It took nearly 60 years for her own story, not just her connection to a famous man's death, to actually get told. Story 6. Bettye Swann, Make Me Yours, 1967. One day in 1980, a chart-topping soul singer gave her last concert. Bettye Swann topped the Billboard R&B chart in 1967 with Make Me Yours, a song so gospel-soaked and gorgeous, it's still considered one of the finest soul ballads of the decade. More hits followed across 3 different major labels over the next decade. In 1980, Swann's husband and manager, George Barton, died. She changed her professional name to Bettye Barton, became a Jehovah's Witness, and moved into a career in education. She never returned to music, not even once, for the rest of her life. Her recordings kept circulating anyway, gaining a devoted following among soul collectors who had no way of finding her. Bettye Swann chose her own ending on her own terms, trading a music career for a quiet, private life, and never once looking back to correct the record. Story 5. Durando, Didn't I, 1972.
I recorded the song in the bathroom.
A flamboyant soul singer in a white Rolls-Royce, diamond rings, tailored suits, and then, at the edge of real recognition,
I wasn't doing all of that stuff.
in the early 1970s, Durando opened concerts for James Brown himself and released 3 singles, including a devastating ballad called Didn't I. It sold a modest 35,000 copies, enough to make him a minor Bay Area legend. Not long after, he simply walked away from music entirely. Rumors filled the silence. His own label had once suggested he'd supported himself as a pimp during his flashy years, a claim Durando always firmly denied. It took a music historian named Justin Torres nearly a decade of searching before Durando's own son finally made contact. When Torres and a colleague found him and played Didn't I on an old record player, the truth turned out far quieter than any rumor. Durando had spent those missing decades working as a physical therapist. He picked up his old guitar, dust flying off the strings, and sang the song again for the first time in 30 years. He was rediscovered, signed to a real label at 60 years old, and his music later soundtracked the opening credits of Breaking Bad. Story 4. Wendy Renee, After Laughter Comes Tears, 1964. Sometimes a disappearance isn't a mystery at all. Wendy Renee was a rising star at Stax Records in Memphis, recording alongside some of the greatest names in soul music, with a real hit in After Laughter Comes Tears. In 1967, with a young family growing at home, she decided to retire and raise her children. She was actually scheduled to perform one final show alongside Otis Redding and the Bar-Kays. At the last minute, she changed her mind and stayed home. That weekend, Wendy Renee stayed away from music entirely after that, until 1993, decades later, when a friend of her son heard something strange on the radio. The Wu-Tang Clan had built an entire song around a sample of her voice, without her even knowing. Alicia Keys later covered one of her songs too, royalties that, by Renee's own account, helped pay for the home she still lived in, decades after she'd walked away from the only life the industry had offered her. Story 3. Bettye LaVette, Child of the 70s, 1972.
Look out across the sea, and you know there's
An entire debut album, the one meant to finally make her a star.
another place perhaps that a young girl could be.
By 1972, Bettye LaVette had been grinding through the industry for a full decade, touring alongside Otis Redding and James Brown, watching friends like Aretha Franklin and Diana Ross become superstars, while her own breakthrough kept slipping away.
And that ain't nothing new.
Then Atlantic Records signed her and sent her to the legendary Muscle Shoals studio to finally record her debut.
Patience and understanding, they can get you right.
Atlantic shelved it. No real explanation was ever given. LaVette later said she got caught in a power struggle between two of the label's own executives, and her album became collateral damage.
Ooh, take you up now, and we can let you down.
She said, describing the moment she learned it would never see the light of day.
Hold you by your side, and he holds you by,
The master tapes sat forgotten for almost 30 years.
and he takes you in his arms, and he holds.
It took a French record collector, convinced from a rough recording that something special was buried in there, flying to New York and personally digging through Atlantic's own archives to prove the album still existed at all. When it was finally released in the 2000s, critics called it one of the great lost soul records of the era, 3 decades after the industry had quietly buried it. Story 2. Bette Davis, They Say I'm Different, 1974. For 40 years, a funk pioneer shopped at her local supermarket, and almost nobody who passed her in the aisles had any idea who she'd once been. In the early 1970s, Bette Davis was funk music's most fearless voice, a singer who wrote her own uncompromising, sexually confident lyrics, at a time when almost no woman in the genre was allowed to. By the mid-1970s, after 3 albums that never found the commercial success her talent deserved, Davis simply stopped. She spent a year abroad, among silent monks in Japan. When she came back, she quietly moved to the Pittsburgh area and disappeared from the music world entirely. She later said, "And nobody else was knocking at my door." She only briefly resurfaced in 2017, agreeing to participate in a documentary about her own vanished life, titled Bettye, They Say I'm Different. Singer Erykah Badu personally called her after seeing it. Bettye Davis died in 2022 at 77 years old in the same quiet Pennsylvania town where she'd spent 4 decades being nobody in particular, once called Madonna before Madonna, and, for 40 years, simply a woman doing her grocery shopping. Story 1. Jackie Shane, Any Other Way, 1963. Some disappearances get investigated by music historians.
She wants to know how.
This one got an entire documentary built around a single question.
But I know why you're here.
In the 1960s, Jackie Shane, a black transgender soul singer who'd left the American South to escape Jim Crow, packed nightclubs across Toronto almost every single night. She turned down the Ed Sullivan Show because producers wouldn't let her wear makeup on stage, and turned down American Bandstand too, refusing to perform on a show that wouldn't let black kids into the audience to watch her.
When I pass, I hear them whisper.
Then, in 1971, at the edge of real national stardom, with no way to reach her, friends and former bandmates grew genuinely afraid.
Here's what you say.
Some worried she had been murdered. Conspiracy theories spread through the small but devoted community of R&B collectors who kept trading her records for decades, never knowing if the woman who made them was even still alive.
Or you might see me cry.
The truth, when it finally surfaced more than 40 years later, was far gentler than anyone had feared.
This is what you
Shane had moved home to care for her aging mother, choosing a life of quiet privacy on her own terms.
say. Till I
In 2014, a record label researcher finally reached her by phone in Nashville. A 2017 reissue of her recordings earned her a Grammy nomination.
any other way.
She gave a handful of rare interviews before her death in 2019, finally telling her own story in her own words. A documentary about her life is titled, simply, Any Other Way, the same words she once sang on the record that made her a legend, decades before anyone knew what had actually happened to her.